So today we need to talk about Social Security and specifically the things that are not being said. So I want to address this, but first I do ask a favor of you, and that is, can you please go ahead, hit that like button. Also click that share button so you can share this with your friends, your family, and your colleagues over on Facebook so they too know exactly what is going on. But this is the reason why. Right now we are seeing a lot of content, and it's not just here on YouTube. It's on TikTok, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, even on just the internet in general. We're seeing a lot of content get pushed back. People are not being shown a lot of the bigger stories. And I'm going to address this in today's video, but again, all I ask, that one thing, go ahead, hit that like button if you can, if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So let's dive right into Social Security. We have a lot of people asking questions. However, I have not seen a lot of these questions because, again, I'm not being shown them. But somebody pointed this out. Somebody pointed out views on one of my videos. Listen to what this person had to say. They say, and I quote, "I have noticed some of your videos aren't getting many views when you talk about the president or vice president. But now I'm a little worried that we aren't getting the full truth because of possible censorship. Is this happening elsewhere?" Well, here's the thing. It is happening. And this isn't the first time. It's not going to be the last time. We see this all the time. Now, a lot of times YouTube does come out and they don't censor content a lot. But what they do is they monitor the videos that are going out to make sure it's the right information. Now, when I put out a video on President Biden or Vice President Kamala Harris or former President Donald Trump, sometimes it's because there's some major news that has just broken. That's one of the reasons why. But this is what I think is interesting. I've been looking for a lot of information on Social Security lately, trying to figure out, obviously, was the Social Security cost of living adjustment going to be? Trying to figure out what Vice President Kamala Harris's stance on Social Security is. Tim Walz, J.D. Vance, Vice President or former President Donald Trump, right? All these things. Here's the issue. A lot of this content has been put behind paywalls. It's been not really censored, but scaled back. It's been edited. Again, how are people supposed to get the truth? And this is why I think this is bad news for Social Security, because nobody's talking about it. In the current state, people are not talking about Social Security. I talked about this last week and told you how Tim Walz, he passed a bill in his home state. He passed a bill that for Social Security beneficiaries, that your income, right? There's a targeted tax, right? And so again, that's something that they're looking at for as the federal government. But again, if nobody's talking about it, there's not discussions, people aren't pushing their state representatives to do something like this, we're not going to see anything get done. So at a time when the Social Security cost of living adjustment is expected to be 2.6% for 2025, well, people are concerned because inflation is likely going to be higher than 2.5 or 2.6%. So that's a little bit of an issue. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention today. People are struggling. Look at this story. This is from CNN. This is just from a couple days ago. It says, "I'm down to eat in ramen. Social Security benefits aren't keeping up with inflation." I've heard this so many times before where people are wondering, well, how come Social Security beneficiaries are not being taken care of? How come we are seeing more things for low-income earners in the middle class, however, not the elderly? Well, I talked about this morning, and I told you what Vice President Kamala Harris's proposal is. Tax cuts to millions and millions of middle-class families. We're going to see that if she does win the presidency, within her first 100 days, she's going to target businesses. She's going to target those grocery stores, pharmaceutical companies, to ensure that they are not price gouging the U.S. consumers. So, and again, this is the reason I bring this up is the comment that I received about some of my videos not getting views. One of my friends sent me a text message just after, probably about an hour and a half after that video was live, and he was saying that it's interesting. YouTube doesn't want to show that video. Okay, that's fine. But again, this is the problem that I have. If lawmakers are not talking about Social Security, and again, we're talking about Social Security today, but if they're not talking about any policy, right, any benefit, anything, and then the news outlets or social media doesn't want to show it and push that, it's not much we can do. It's just not a lot we can do. But I want to read you some other comments that people are on Social Security. And here's what they had to say. One person says, and I quote, "You always talk about the cost of living adjustment and how it will benefit many people. But I haven't seen that happen for me or people that I personally know. We are all buying groceries in bulk and trading them so that we can actually eat. Inflation has hurt us so much, and I doubt any administration will do anything about it." That's a fair assessment. And I think this is a fair assessment because we haven't seen anything. Right? Former President Donald Trump, did he do anything for Social Security? No, not really. Current President Biden and the Biden administration, did they do anything for Social Security? No, they didn't. Even when you have full control, and they had full control for 2 years and did nothing, but yet they argued that Republicans didn't want to jump in and help. Another person had this to say, and I quote, "I had to get rid of my internet for the past 4 months because I couldn't pay for it. Now I have internet again only because I'm going back to school to finish my degree. I think it is embarrassing that I'm 69 years old and going back to school because Social Security will not keep up with inflation, and I must go back to work." I don't think that's embarrassing on your part. I think that's embarrassing on the government's part. I think that's troubling that somebody is pretty much forced to go, and this person doesn't say what their degree is, but forced to go back to school at 69 years old in order to get their degree or finish their degree. Again, don't know what the degree is, don't know how much time they have left, but that's admirable. Now, I want to leave you with this. Right now, there's a lot of people wondering what's going to happen, who's going to be the next president, and what are they going to do. This is part of the issue. We're not seeing a lot of discussions, a lot of articles and interviews from people so that we know if former President Donald Trump is going to win, what's he running on? What is the first move he's going to make? Now, we've seen some stuff, but again, other things, other ideas are kind of blocked, a little bit censored. And then with current Vice President Kamala Harris, what is her plan? That's the biggest question mark, is what is she going to do? Is she just going to piggyback off of what President Biden has done and Bidenomics? I talked about the Kamalanomics that they're calling it. And is this really going to work? Well, again, we don't know. We're going to find out soon enough. But the issue is, if we are voting on somebody that we have no clue what their plan is, what their agenda is, but yet we're only voting because that's the limited information that we've received, that's troubling. And again, this is why it's potentially bad news for Social Security, because nobody's talking about it right now. They were a little while ago. They were last week. Nobody's talking about it this week. And with nobody talking about it, that means nobody's planning to do anything about it. So, we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.